Mute your mic.
So Facebook folks, apologies, but we got to stop for the Zoom people because they can't hear me. So we're going to start all over again. Looking out on the horizon, light is gleaming, rays are beaming, a blessing to lay your eyes on. Truth is streaming, wake up from your dreaming, and here we gather together, praising the Lord who will reign forever. Joining as one for the world to see. In fellowship, love, and unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love. Unity, unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love. Unity, unity. In fellowship with all people. Truth beside us, God's word here to guide us, seeing each one as equal. Love inside us, nothing can divide us. Heart to heart and hand in hand. Every girl, woman, boy, and man, sharing the gift of humanity. When we all join in unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love. Unity, unity. I still need to bring that drum up a little bit. It's just not quite loud enough for me. And the mic is messing with my glasses. It's just a crazy morning this morning. Good morning, everyone, and happy Easter to all of you out there on this beautiful, I don't know what the weather is wherever you are, if you're watching this on Sunday, but here it's absolutely amazing. It's just beautiful. The sun is out. It's nice and warm outside. As you can see, I'm here alone. Daryl, unfortunately, is under the weather today. And so please keep him in your prayers as you just go through your life. Include his name in there for healing. Give him a prayer for healing. And speaking of prayers, let's go ahead and begin with one. Well, I didn't say good morning to the Facebook folks. I don't know. Good morning out there in Facebook land. Hope everyone is there or well, whenever you're watching this. And good morning, Nini. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Oh, that's good. And I didn't say, I'm so all over the place. I was like, wait a minute, the drum sounds, yeah. But I didn't say hi to Adele and Hushang and Terry. Good morning, all of you. And good morning, Jeremiah. And let's go ahead and start with a prayer. Magnified be thy name, O Lord my God. Thou art he whom all things worship and who worshipeth no one, who is the Lord of all things and is the vassal of none, who knoweth all things and is known of none. Thou didst wish to make thyself known unto men. Therefore thou didst, through a word of thy mouth, bring creation into being and fashion the universe. There is none other God except thee, the fashioner, the creator, the almighty, the most powerful. I implore thee by this very word that hath shone forth above the horizon of thy will, to enable me to drink deep of the living waters, through which thou hast vivified the hearts of thy chosen ones and quickened the souls of them that love thee, that I may at all times and under all conditions turn my face wholly towards thee. Thou art the God of power, of glory, and bounty. No God is there beside thee, the supreme ruler, the all-glorious, the omniscient. And as usual, as I've been doing over the last few weeks, I always like to include just a brief little passage from not merely the Baha'i writings, but Baha'u'llah's writings. And I'm going to do that as I do that also today. And where is the one I had chosen? Oh, here we are. Okay. O thou that hast fled thy home and sought the presence of God, proclaim unto men the message of thy Lord, that it may haply deter them from following the promptings of their evil and corrupt desires, and bring them to the remembrance of God, the most exalted, the most great. Say, fear God, O people, and this is the part I really wanted to read. Fear God, O people, and refrain from shedding the blood of anyone. Contend not with your neighbor, and be ye of them that do good. Beware that ye commit no disorders on the earth after it hath been well ordered, and follow not the footsteps of them that are gone astray. I'm going to read the fear God, O people, and refrain from shedding the blood of anyone. Contend not with your neighbor, and be ye of them that do good. Beware that ye commit no disorders on the earth after it hath been well ordered, and follow not the footsteps of them that are gone astray. And that is from Gleanings 128. Yeah, it's in Roman numerals, so I have to kind of think about that when I'm reading the Roman numerals. And as you know, we have been reading from the book Baha'u'llah and the New Era by J.E. Esselmont. We've been reading it for quite some time. And today we are continuing in the chapter called Prayer. We're continuing in that chapter, but we are beginning on the section called Deliverance from Calamities. Deliverance from Calamities. And I have to tell you, I would bet that there are some things in this particular section that might not sit well with some of you. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. So let's begin. Deliverance from calamities. I know that if Nini saw me right now, and she's not in the room, but she'd say, fix your shirt. So, and I see myself, so I'm fixing my shirt. There we go. Okay. Deliverance from calamities. According to the teaching of the prophets, disease and all other forms of calamity are due to disobedience to the divine commands. Disease and all other forms of calamity are due to disobedience to the divine commands. Even disasters due to floods, hurricanes, and earthquakes are attributed by Abdu'l-Baha indirectly to this cause. Even disasters due to floods, hurricanes, and earthquakes are attributed by Abdu'l-Baha indirectly to this cause. The suffering that follows error is not vindictive, however, but educative and remedial. It is God's voice proclaiming to man that he has strayed from the right path. It is God's voice proclaiming to man that he has strayed from the right path. If the suffering is terrible, it is only because the danger of wrongdoing is more terrible. For, in quotes, the wages of sin is death. Just as calamity is due to disobedience, so deliverance from calamity can be obtained only by obedience. There is no chance or uncertainty about the matter. Turning from God inevitably brings disaster, and turning to God as inevitably brings blessing. Turning from God inevitably brings disaster, and turning to God as inevitably brings blessing. And I got to tell you, when I first read this, I was thinking, wait a minute. I know some people that live in an obviously, overtly, unashamedly ungodly way. And while I don't know the personal affairs of their lives, I think they seem to be doing okay. But this next paragraph, kind of gives a response to that. As the whole of humanity is one organism, however, the welfare of each individual depends not only on his own behavior, but on that of his neighbors. The welfare of each individual depends not only on his own behavior, but on that of his neighbors. If one does wrong, all suffer in greater or less degree, while if one does well, all benefit. If one does wrong, all suffer in greater or less degree, while if one does well, all benefit. Each has to bear his neighbor's burdens. Each has to bear his neighbor's burdens to some extent, and the best of mankind are those who bear the biggest burdens. Each has to bear his neighbor's burdens to some extent, and the best of mankind are those who bear the biggest burdens. The saints have always suffered abundantly. The prophets have suffered superlatively. Baha'u'llah says in the book of Iqan, you must undoubtedly have been informed of the tribulations, the poverty, the ills, and the degradation that have befallen every prophet of God and his companions. You must have undoubtedly have been informed of the tribulations, the poverty, the ills, and the degradation that have befallen every prophet of God and his companions. You must have heard how the heads of their followers were sent as presents unto different cities. And that's again from the Kitab-i Iqan, or the book of Iqan. This is not because the saints and prophets have merited punishment above other men. Nay, they often suffer for the sins of others and choose to suffer for the sake of others. Their concern is for the world's welfare. Their concern is for the world's welfare, not for their own. The prayer of the true lover of humanity is not that he as an individual may escape poverty, ill health, or disaster, but that mankind may be saved from ignorance and error and the ills that inevitably flow from them. You know, while I'm reading this, I'm thinking about the fact that now it has been proving that the activities of man have contributed to climate change, from which everyone is suffering to some degree, especially people in those nations that frankly have contributed the least to the causes. And this just seems to, in a very real and literal way, seems to kind of fit within this, but that's just me talking there. That mankind may be saved from ignorance and error, and that the ills that inevitably flow from them. If he wishes health or wealth for himself, it is in order that he may serve the kingdom. And if physical health and wealth are denied him, he accepts his lot with radiant acquiescence, well knowing that there is a right wisdom in whatever befalls him in the path of God. Abdu'l-Baha says, grief and sorrow do not come to us by chance. They are sent by the divine mercy for our perfecting. When grief and sorrow come, then will a man remember his Father who is in heaven, who is able to deliver him from his humiliations. The more a man is chastened, the greater is the harvest of spiritual virtues shown forth by him. At first sight, It may seem very unjust that the innocent should suffer for the guilty. But Abdu'l-Baha assures us that the injustice is only apparent and that in the long run, perfect justice prevails. He, Abdu'l-Baha, writes, as to the subject of babes and children and weak ones who are afflicted by the hands of the oppressors, for those souls there is a recompense in another world. That suffering is the greatest mercy of God. I told you early at the beginning that there are some things here you probably wouldn't like hearing. And to me, this is one of them. As to the subject of babes and children and weak ones who are afflicted by the hands of the oppressors, for those souls there is a recompense in another world. That suffering is the greatest mercy of God. Verily, that mercy of the Lord is far better than all the comfort of this world and the growth and development appertaining to this place of mortality. I'm going to read that in. I kind of chopped it up. Verily, that mercy of the Lord is far better than all the comfort of this world and the growth and development appertaining to this place of mortality, keeping in mind that mortality means death. This is a place of death. We come here, we live, and we die. Let's move on to prayer and natural law. I don't think I said good morning to Dell and Gilbert. Good morning. Prayer and natural law. Many find a difficulty in believing in the efficacy of prayer because they think that answers to prayer would involve arbitrary interference with the laws of nature. An analogy may help to remove this difficulty. Here's that analogy. If a magnet be held over some iron filings, the iron filings, will fly upwards and cling to the magnet. But this involves no interference with the law of gravitation. What has happened is that a superior force has been brought into play. Another force whose action is just as regular and calculable as that of gravity. The Baha'i view is that prayer brings into action higher forces, as yet comparatively little known. But there seems no reason to believe that these forces are more arbitrary in their action than the physical forces. In other words, there's still order in the forces that respond to prayer. The difference is that they have not yet been fully studied and experimentally investigated, and their action appears mysterious and incalculable because of our ignorance. Another difficulty which some find perplexing is that prayer seems too feeble a force to produce the great results often claimed to it. Analogy may serve to clear up this difficulty also. A small force, when applied to the sluice gate of a reservoir, may release and regulate an enormous flow of water power, or when applied to the steering gear of an ocean liner, may control the course of the huge vessel. In other words, you've got this little thing that's having a major effect, or at least unleashing a large amount of power. In the Baha'i view, the power that brings about answers to prayer is the inexhaustible power of God. The part of the suppliant is only to exert the feeble force necessary to release the flow or determine the course of the divine bounty, which is ever ready to serve those who have learned how to draw upon it. Now we're going to look at Baha'i prayers, because there are, you saw me reading at the beginning from the prayer book that I usually read from. Hey, Mom. Read from the prayer book that I usually read from. And we're going to be reading some of those prayers right now. But at first, here's an opening in that section. Baha'u'llah and Abdu'l-Baha have revealed innumerable prayers for the use of their followers at various times and for various purposes. The greatness of conception and depth of spirituality revealed in these utterances must impress every thoughtful student, but only by making their use a regular and important part of one's daily life can their significance be fully appreciated and their power for good realized. Unfortunately, considerations of space prevent our giving more than a very few short specimens of these prayers. For further examples, the reader must be referred to other works. And I put, oh, there's my prayer book. For many Baha'is, I dare say most Baha'is, you'll see that most of us have a prayer book that we often resort to or refer to when reading prayers. And every prayer in here is either from Baha'u'llah or the Bab or Abdu'l-Baha, and we're told that those prayers especially have special power. And I will say that the wonderful thing about these prayers is, if you're like me and sometimes you struggle for the right, I don't even want to say the right, but for the words to express whatever you may be feeling when, communing with God, that prayer book is, pardon the pun, is a godsend. It really is. There's a prayer there for every occasion, even if the details of your life might not seem, it's spoken to specifically in those prayers. While the details of your life might not be there, there's a prayer for whatever you may need. So in fact, this is one of my favorite prayers from Baha'u'llah. O my Lord, make thy beauty to be my food, and thy presence my drink, and thy pleasure my hope, and praise of thee my action, and remembrance of thee my companion, and the power of thy sovereignty my succorer. For anyone who doesn't know what succorer means, it means my strength, a strengthener. And thy habitation my home, and my dwelling place the seat thou hast sanctified from the limitations imposed upon them who are shut out as by a veil from thee. Thou art verily the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the Most Powerful. Here's another from Baha'u'llah. And this prayer is actually called the Noonday Prayer, or it's sometimes called, actually it's called the Short Obligatory Prayer, but sometimes called the Noonday Prayer, because for those who choose to pray it, it should be prayed around noon daily. I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy wealth. There is none other God but thee, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. Here's another prayer from Baha'u'llah, and this is a prayer for unity that is often said in Baha'i circles. And actually has been put to music by quite a few different Baha'i artists. O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Here's another prayer. This next prayer is actually from Abdu'l-Baha, and actually all of these next prayers, we have three more here that are coming from Abdu'l-Baha. This is another prayer for unity, the unity of the human race. O thou kind Lord, thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Thou hast decreed that all shall belong to the same household. In thy holy presence they are all thy servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath thy tabernacle. All have gathered together at thy table of bounty. All are illumined through the light of thy providence. O God, thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all, conferrest life upon all. Thou hast endowed each and all with talents and faculties, and all are submerged in the ocean of thy mercy. O thou kind Lord, unite all. Let the religions agree and make the nations one, so that they may see each other as one family and the whole earth as one home. May they all live together in perfect harmony. O God, raise aloft the banner of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement thou, O God, the hearts together. O thou kind Father God, gladden our hearts through the fragrance of thy love. Brighten our eyes through the light of thy guidance. Delight our ears with the melody of thy word, and shelter us all in the stronghold of thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiving, and thou art the one who overlookest the shortcomings of all mankind. Here is another prayer from Abdu'l-Baha. This is a prayer for forgiveness. O thou Almighty, I am a sinner, but thou art the forgiver. I am full of shortcomings, but thou art the compassionate. I am in darkness and error, but thou art the light of pardon. Therefore, O thou benevolent God, forgive my sins, grant thy bestowals, overlook my faults, provide for me a shelter, immerse me in the fountain of thy patience, and heal me of all sickness and disease. Purify and sanctify me. Give me a portion from the outpouring of holiness, so that sorrow and sadness may vanish, joy and happiness descend, despondency and hopelessness be changed into cheerfulness and trustfulness, and courage take the place of fear. Verily, thou art the forgiver, the compassionate, and thou art the generous, the beloved. And here's a final prayer also from Abdu'l-Baha. O compassionate God, thanks be to thee, for thou hast awakened and made me conscious. Thou hast given me a seeing eye and favored me with a hearing ear, hast led me to thy kingdom and guided me to thy path. Thou hast shown me the right way and caused me to enter the ark of deliverance. O God, keep me steadfast. Excuse me. O God, keep me steadfast and make me firm and staunch. Protect me from violent tests, and preserve and shelter me in the strongly fortified fortress of thy covenant and testament. Thou art the powerful, thou art the seeing, thou art the hearing. I have a tickle here in my throat. Thou art the hearing. O thou, the compassionate God, bestow upon me a heart which, like unto glass, may be illumined with the light of thy love. And confer upon me a thought which may change this world into a rose garden through the spiritual bounty. Thou art the compassionate, the merciful. Thou art the great beneficent God. And these are, again, all prayers that Baha'is around the world pray on a regular basis. Good morning, Ralph. Let me let Ralph in here. Oh, wait a minute. Thank you. Thank you, Nini. And these are all prayers, just, again, a few of the whole, just, countless, again, prayers that are available, revealed by Baha'u'llah and Abdu'l-Baha, and I'll also say the Bab, even though none of these prayers came from the Bab. To move on, though, and this is the final passage here in this chapter on prayer. Baha'i prayer, however, is not, however, confined to the use of prescribed forms, important as those are. We don't just have to pray these prayers. Baha'u'llah teaches that one's whole life should be a prayer. That work done in the right spirit is worship. That every thought, word, and deed devoted to the glory of God and the good of one's fellows is prayer in the truest sense of the word. I'm going to read that whole paragraph again. It's short, and I'm going to read it again. I think every word there is important. Baha'i prayer is not, however, confined to the use of prescribed forms, important as they are. Baha'u'llah teaches that one's whole life should be a prayer, that work done in the right spirit is prayer, that every thought, word, and deed devoted to the glory of God and the good of one's fellows is prayer, in the truest sense of the word. And with that, we finished this chapter reading about prayer. I think we're past time for where we would normally have done a song, so I think we'll take a little break there. And I hope this drum machine is loud enough. I don't know. Just a bit. Hope that's not too loud to the folks in Zoom. When was the last time that you reached out?
You reach out.
When was the last time you reached out
You reach
to somebody, someone who don't know your name, needs some love just the same, yeah. When was the last time you reached out? When was the last time you helped a stranger? Poor and cold and lonely, somebody in danger. Somebody's child in need could be the one that you feed. When was the last time you reached out? You could be a blessing to somebody in need. You could be that angel somebody's hoping to see. Someone who's giving up, whose spirit needs some lifting up now. When was the last time you reached out? When was the last time you reached out? Yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember? When was the last time you reached out? You could be a blessing to somebody in need. You could be that angel somebody's hoping to see. Someone who's giving up, whose spirit needs some lifting up now. When was the last time that you reached out? So reach out, reach out. Just reach out, reach out, reach out, just reach out. When was the last time you reached out? I hope that worked. I still couldn't hear the drum enough, but when was the last time you reached out? I think that's a good question we need to ask ourselves. You know, we can always very often remember those times when we need help. You know, we need help and we wish that maybe we could get the aid of someone, or maybe we were even afraid to ask for someone else's help. But I think we need to think about that sometimes. You know, have we done what we can to help others when we're able? So, again, today we're going to stop there. This again ends our reading of the chapter on prayer. And starting next week, you know, barring any unforeseen calamities or barring any obstacles, we're going to start reading a chapter, the next chapter, which is health and healing. And actually, it's a rather lengthy chapter, or maybe just the pages are thick, but it looks long. But health and healing. And at this time, as always, what we're going to do is we're going to, this is that time that we ask anyone who would like to offer up a prayer or a reading of your own choosing, or even a song. This is that time. And Andy's not with us today. So normally we would be having our Andy Murphy moment, but again, he's not here. So anyone else who would like to offer up a prayer, please feel free to do so.
Sure, give me a minute. I gotta look it up in my book. Let's see. I guess we can do a healing prayer for our friends. Praise be thou, O Lord my God. I implore thee by thy most great name, to which thou dost stir up thy servants and build up thy cities, and by thy most excellent titles, and by the most august attributes, to assist thy people to turn in the direction of thy manifold bounties, and set their faces towards the tabernacle of thy wisdom. Heal thou the sicknesses that have assailed the souls on every side, and have deterred them from directing their gaze towards the paradise that lieth in the shelter of thy shadowing name, which thou didst ordain to be the King of all names, unto all who are in heaven and all who are on earth. Potent art thou to do as pleaseth thee. In thy hands is the empire of all names. There is none other God but thee, the mighty, the wise. I am but a poor creature, O my Lord. I have clung to the hem of thy riches. I am sore sick. I have held fast to the cord of thy healing. Deliver me from the ills that have encircled me, and wash me thoroughly with the waters of thy graciousness and mercy, and attire me with the raiment of thy wholesomeness. Through thy forgiveness and bounty, fix then mine eyes upon thee, and rid me of all attachment to aught else except thyself. Aid me to do what thou desirest, and to fulfill what thou pleasest. Thou art truly the Lord of this life and of the next. Thou art in truth the ever forgiving, the most merciful. From Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Anthony, did you have that song I was telling you about by the Golden Gate Quartet? There are no restricted signs in heaven.
Could you please say that again, Ralph? My monitor's a little low here.
Maybe. It was a song, No Restricted Signs in Heaven. It was made in 1946 by the Golden Gate Quartet. I think I actually tagged you on that song. It sounds very similar to what Baha'u'llah was saying in the Kitabi icon about how the manifestations of God are sitting on the same throne and speaking the same speech. No restriction signs in heaven, no selective clientele.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
I think I mentioned it before, but I tagged you and some other people on that song.
Well, could you possibly send me that sometime?
Okay.
Okay, I'd
It's
appreciate it.
interesting that Terrence just mentioned the emperor of all names, the emperor of all things. You know, it's the emperor of all things, the emperor of all names, the emperor of everything between heaven and earth. And I'm living in New York, and that, you know, New York had been called the Empire State. And I think there's quite a history behind that because the
Oh,
Haudenosaunee were here before the white people were.
oh, okay. Okay.
And I was living at Congress Trailer Park, and Jeremy Myers is some relationship to Oren Lyon. You know what Oren Lyons is? I
Mm.
think the current head of the Haudenosaunee. You don't call him Haudenosaunee. Don't call him Iroquois because that's basically a French word, and it's actually an insult. I met Sally Roesch Wagner that wrote the book. It's Sisters in Spirit. It's about how the Klan mothers influenced the suffrage movement here in New York State, the one that happened in 1848 at Seneca Falls. So I've been working too with the East Hampton cluster. They're kind of in southern Vermont and western Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
It would be too. I mean, Abdu'l Baha gave us the Tablet of Divine Plan. We have a different prayer for the Northeast as he do in the South.
What was that last thing you said? I just made a little adjustment here.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe mine's off too. I don't know. I actually work with East Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
They sometimes come on a little after you do. I'm still using my old tablet because I don't have the Zoom on my new one. But
Oh, I see. Okay.
the problem is I have an old tablet. There's just too much stuff
Oh.
on it. Brings the battery down.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I tell you what, this is wonderful technology we have, but it comes with its challenges, doesn't it? I know. Yeah, there's so many things that, frankly, on this end that, you know, one thing's too loud, one thing's not loud enough, and so I just end up saying, okay, maybe we just have to go with what we've got, you know, and keep learning and keep trying to, as we continue, you know, deal with the problems as they arise, and hopefully just make things as good as we can and better the next time. Yeah, yeah. But thank you, Terry. I mean, Ralph. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Well then, let's see. Yeah, we've still got a little bit of time, but not a lot of time. So this is that time that we usually like to point out. One moment, please. Let's bring this from behind the curtain. We always like to point out that, as of course, this is not this is a group effort. It always is, and whether it's me and Daryl or just me by myself, or Daryl and me, I should say, it's always a group effort, and I'm always very, very grateful for the folks that show up on Zoom and that show up on Facebook, whether it's at the time that we're doing the program or even later. We always appreciate your feedback and your support in spirit. And if you would like more information regarding the Baha'i Faith, there are some authoritative websites, of course, that you can go to, that you can access online. And these are those websites, as you can see. Maybe you're looking at it backwards, but www.baha'i.org, www.baha'i.us, www.bahaiteachings.org, and and also the Clearwater website that we come to, that they allow us to come to you and use their Zoom connection. They also post our programs afterwards. They are a wealth of information. They have not just this program, but programs from others, from other speakers and other teachers, one of whom is Gilbert Hakim, who always has, he's either speaking in the program that follows this, or he's somehow connected to that program, I can say that. So So yeah, if you want more information regarding the faith, the Baha'i faith, these are again those authoritative websites. So now let me put that aside and excuse me, still got a little tickle in my throat. And once again, I certainly want to say, enjoy your Easter Sunday for those of you that may be out there celebrating it, or I should say observing Easter. Let me let Sarah in here. For anyone who may be out there observing Easter or plans to later on today, we wish you well and say Happy Easter to you. And let me look and see how we're doing on time. Okay, it's a little early, but I think it might be good to go ahead and start closing out. Let me get situated here. Again, I once again want to really express my appreciation for everyone who, for whatever reason, finds value in what we're doing here. And I want to really say thank you for again, just really being a part of this program. Thank you. And as Daryl would say if he were here, whatever you do this week, no matter what it is, as you're going through your week, try and share some love with someone. Or as our song says that we sang earlier, reach out to someone, but just share the love. As Daryl says, it usually doesn't cost you anything, and it's pretty easy to do. And Lord knows, with the way that some people out there are acting, we need as many people sharing love as possible. I don't know how this drum machine is going to act, so I'm going to go ahead and see what. No, that's not the right setting anyway. So give me a moment. This is what happens when you got to do it all yourself. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay, we won't edit that out, but I wish we could. O people of justice, be as brilliant as the light and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. We beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Whoa, whoa. I'll do another verse. It is incumbent upon every man in this day to hold fast unto whatsoever will promote the interest and exalt the station of all nations and just governments. Through each and every one of the verses which the pen of the Most High hath revealed, the doors of love and unity have been unlocked and flung open to the face of men. We have erewhile declared, and our word is the truth. Consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, watch over yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surroundeth you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Have a good day, folks. We see that Olga's just coming in. Olga, you just missed it, but you can catch it on Facebook or go to YouTube at clearwaterbahais.org. Hello, Olga. How are you? Nini, I can't see the clock. There we go. We're glad you're joining us, Olga. We're just finishing up, but you can see our program. Again, they stream it on clearwaterbahais.org. I don't know how, I know Jeremiah, who handles all the technical stuff, gets it up there very quickly. Hopefully you'll join us next week. You all have yourselves a good week.